Shanti. Today I wanted to read from the Dhamapada, which is a record of ancient Buddhist texts, Buddhist scriptures, recorded from 100 AD to 400 AD. And because I thought they might be helpful, because the truth is always relevant. So these Buddhist texts, Buddha is a state of being, and the Bodhisattva is, Bodhi means the wisdom of holy men. So the state of being is realised through the wisdom of the holy man. And so that's the Bodhi and the Bodhisattva. And it starts with the Bodhi, the wisdom, the Bodhisattva, that an incalculable aeon is so great in time that it is incalculable. A time between 10 zeros and 27 zeros. Buddhahood is earned and developed anywhere from the third incalculable aeon up to and including 100 incalculable aeons. It challenges our contemporary idea of time. And the first one is headed the preacher of patience, the preacher of patience, the Bodhisattva. And the Bodhisattva is the change from an ordinary being to a Bodhi being, which is when the mind has reached a certain stage where it cannot turn its back on enlightenment. It cannot turn its back on enlightenment. Also, he has by then gained the 5 advantages. He is always well built and free from physical defects. He can remember his past lives and no longer forgets them again. The word Bodhi refers to a man who first enlightens himself and thereafter enlightens others. The word Bodhisattva refers here to that wisdom of holy men, which has reached the stage where the outflow has dried up. And he does this initially by achieving the 6 perfections. The 6 perfections, and the first perfection is giving. The 6 clauses of the perfected state. The first clause is giving, that you must give in order to receive of the heart. The second is morality, that you must check yourself and develop the bridge of morality. The third is meditation. You must meditate on the good meditation. The fourth is patience. You must be patient or else you will become one. The fifth is vigour. You must place your vigour on the path of righteousness. And the sixth of the 6 perfections, the sixth is wisdom. You must have the wisdom to choose wisdom. So on many occasions the Bodhisattva gave away his possessions, including his body, without regretting it. When he is the preacher of patience, he is unmoved when he is insulted, beaten, burned, attacked, or cut to pieces, it says. The preacher of patience just remains composed and inwardly unmoved, regardless of outside circumstances, to the idea of the self or to the body's self. This is done and can be done because he has become the master of trance. The master of trance. The vigour of his mind never faltered, strictly observing the moral rules. His great mind became proficient in wisdom. He ascends from the mother's womb, the earth, the below, to the Father's abode, heaven, the above. Knowledge is joined to trance and bears fruit. And this jhana knowledge or gnosis is the stage and the state of the Bodhisattva, the state of the sage, the stage of the sage. The Bodhisattva is gnosis, the knowledge, the divine knowledge linked to trance, bears the fruit of the Bodhisattva and the Buddhahood. He says, for enlightenment I was born. Do we ask ourselves occasionally, why was I born? It's a hard question to answer. Well, the highest knowledge tells us for enlightenment. We're born for enlightenment. For enlightenment I was born. For the good of all that lives. And the Bodhisattva says, this is the last time I've been born into the world of becoming. By strenuous efforts, he wins the way, which is truly real. And his gnosis will blaze forth like that of the sun and remove the darkness of illusion from this world. The illusion of darkness is the delusion. What we call Maya. Maya is the world of illusion, which is the delusion that darkness exists. Because outside of this world there is no darkness. We're in a relative world of opposites, and we make our free choice through the middle of time. The world is carried away with distress on the flooded river of suffering, which the foam of disease oversprays, which has old age for its surge, and rushes along with the violent rush of death. Across the river he will ferry the world with the mighty boat of Gnosis. The stream of his most excellent Dharma shall flow along with the current of Dharma and wisdom. So, Dharma is understanding the truth in wisdom. And this Dharma of wisdom is banked in by firm morality and cooled by transit concentration, that is highly astute meditation, and holy works shall cover it like melodious ducks. The world of the living, tormented with the thirst of its cravings, will drink from this stream. Only when you're so tormented and tortured will you do anything to get out of such sufferings, and this is where you reach for the higher good. And you jump currents, as in brainwave currents. You grab onto another current, another system that takes you in another direction, possibly and probably, and I would say definitely, the antithetic stream from torment and the tortured state through cravings in the mortal world. So to those who are tormented with pains and hemmed in by worldly concerns, who are lost in the desert tracks of samsara, samsara is the mortal world, he shall proclaim the path that leads to salvation, as to travellers who have lost their way. Samsara is the world of birth and death. Creatures are scorched by the fires of greed, which feeds on sense objects as its fuel. He will refresh them, that is, the Bodhisattva will refresh them with the waters of the Dharma, that is, understanding the truth of wisdom, which is copious, like the rain from a mighty cloud, when the summer's burning heat is over. With the irresistible hammer of the most excellent true Dharma, he will break down the door which imprisons living beings with the bolt of cravings and the panels of dark delusions, and thus he will enable them to escape Maya, the world of illusion. The world is entangled with the snares of self-delusion. It is overwhelmed by suffering. It has no refuge. It must be remembered that all the bodhisattvas, those beings of quite incomparable spirit, must first of all know the taste of the senses. First of all, they must know the pleasures which the senses give. First of all, because only after a son has been born to them, that is the senses, do they depart then to the forest. Through the accumulated efforts of his past deeds, the bodhisattva possessed in himself the root cause of enlightenment. He could enjoy enlightenment only after first enjoying the pleasures of the senses and being turned away from them, realizing they are transient. There is no such thing as a wrong season for Dharma, for our hold on life is so uncertain. This very day, therefore, I will strive for the highest good. Death and illness, disease and injury, decay confronts me all the time. How do I know how much of life I have left? We must stop grieving over parting from those we have known. All those who birth and are estranged from the oneness of Dharma must one day go their separate ways. In due course, death will separate all from those we have known. This is the way in which we have no say. To think of my mother who bore me in her womb with such great longing and with many pains, what am I to her now and she to me? A memory of love. Birds settle on a tree, the tree of life, for a short while and then go their separate ways again. This is the way of the soul. The meeting of all living beings must likewise inevitably end in their parting. Clouds meet and then fly apart again, and in the same way are the partings of all things inevitable. This world passes away and disappoints and disappears all hopes of continued attachments. All things pass away and disappear from the world second by second. At the same moment, a newness passes in second by second. We are everlasting viewers of the constantly passing effects and circumstances and environments. It is therefore unwise to have an everlasting sense of ownership for all peoples, for any peoples. People we love, people we have loved and are united with us only as in a dream of purpose, to love and be loved for the goodness of all. It is only for a short while. The colourings of the autumn leaves on the trees is beautiful to behold, yet the trees will let go. Our eyes also will let go, as our thoughtful gaze of the senses moves on, also in time, to another object and vision. The trees must let go of the beautiful leaves, and our eyes also must let them go. So cease from grieving things, even beautiful things, as the leaves must come and go. Your grieving love for things now gone holds you back. Again and again they must leave the people they regard as their own, and must go on elsewhere without ever stopping. But, regardless of continual motion being the cause and effect of the entry and re-entry of life, it is the heart that is the cause of effect. The responsible heart is always loving those ones it feels responsible for. We learn to hold the heart still with love as we move through eternal motion. The heart must keep on loving. The responsible, sensitive, loving heart is the cause of all effects throughout all time. This world is like a wheel that turns round and round, but the heart is its axis, and love is the precursor of momentum. The ordinary things of life are a stupor. The mind is overwhelmed by the body's exhaustive needs and desires. Truth lies beyond the senses, and the minds of those thoughtless peoples attached to the senses are senseless objects themselves. Worthless sense objects worshipping the false idols of the world, the senseless, worthless physical objects. These ones are overwhelmed by passion and dark delusions, in love with illusions, and suppressing these passions leads to their depressions. Such is their love for passion instead of compassion. Compassion is the entirely other path that frees those ones from the depression of sensory passion. The Dharma then is to gain the insight which is pure and free from dust. The dust of the past, the dust of condition, the dust of collective consciousness. A morally blameless or virtuous life is the basis for all other achievements. Our achievements rise up with our virtue and morality. Behind the respect for the moral rules and laws lies the awareness of the inexorable law of karma. Dhamapada. The iron itself creates the rust, which slowly is bound to consume it. The evildoer by his own deeds is led to a life full of suffering. The man of wisdom who did good, the man of morals who gave gifts in this world and the next one too, they will advance to happiness. The man whose moral habits, trances, wise reflections are full grown, secure forever, pure and happy, he is then exempt from ever coming back again. Free from his fetters, unattached with perfect knowledge, without will to live, is the Dharma. Raised high above the range of Maya's realms, he blazes radiant as the sun. As I said, Maya is illusion. The wise always carefully observe moral rules, thus clearing rapidly the path to nirvana. The scent of flowers travel with the wind, the fragrance of the good travels all directions. Nobler than the fragrance of all is the fragrance of virtuous lives. sandalwood or tagara shrubs, jasmine evoking the scent that they omit. Virtuous lives send their fragrance to the gods that are above. If your morality is pure, you are always wakeful and attentive. If you are freed by knowledge of the truth, then Maya, the illusion of the mortal world, cannot find you when you die. This is the path which to safety leads. This is the path which brings purity. If you but tread it and meditate, then you'll escape Maya's bonds. I have surveyed this ocean of samsara, which is the mortal world, and I have found nothing substantial in it. Down to the very last, I saw the generations die, how pitiful they have been. They worked the stones and the earth, the seas and the skies, corrupted them and consumed them, how pitiful they have been. Relatives united and intimate friends, children reared and riches stored, all are impermanent, all an illusion, and nothing substantial is found in them. My mind is now forsaken all activity. I dwell in solitude and silence. These are my vows in a coolness, in a purity, in a piety. I keep silent my tongue that I may grasp deep teachings from within. In trance I meditate from all distractions. I am removed. Deep thinking about death will lead to the unique and worthy Dharma, the rejection of attachment to the wheel of samsara, the belief in the retribution of all deeds, mindful of the impermanence and mortality of this life. These are signs we approach the unique and worthy Dharma. To remain from birth to death without the good law, that prolongs the bondage. To desire emancipation and still desire a state of woe, that prolongs the bondage. To hope for miraculous blessings and still have wrong opinions, that prolongs the bondage. To neglect those things which turn the mind towards salvation, that prolongs the bondage. To try to understand one's inner mind while still chained to hopes and fears, that prolongs the bondage. All you who thus prolong your bondage within this ocean of suffering are without the good law and wisdom, the Dharma. Find the meaning, find the words, find their understandings, their meanings of which will free you from that which prolongs the bondage. That which prolongs the bondage is ignorance. That which creates suffering and bondage is the arrogance of defiant ignorance. Give up and ask for help, and you receive it. The raven speaks, grogzion, grogzion, which means help will come, he said, with his great wings risen. Ego, ego, which means do you understand that? Do you understand that? Whilst you live in this samsaric world, that is the mortal world, no lasting happiness can be yours. Do you understand that? To the performance of worldly actions there is no end. Do you understand that? In flesh and blood there is no permanence. Do you understand that? The presence at all times is Maya, the Lord of Death. Do you understand that? Our bodies, so dear to us, will feed the birds and worms. Do you understand that? Wherever one looks, nothing there is substantial. Do you understand that? In the samsara, what you desire is happiness, what you find is grief. Listen, you beings of the samsara world, whilst you inhabit it, a state of woe, salvation is not yet at hand. Thinking on this must make you sad. I now recall to you the good, the unique law. Hear it, you people of the samsara world, the Dharma, the eternal and for time without beginning, because its benefits are so immense. Let us here recall that unique Dharma. These ills in our state of woe are but the fruits of our own deeds, the karmic outcomes of your own accumulated thoughts and acts. For you and only you, as you were, could make them into the karmic outcomes of your own accumulated debts. So now strip off the veil that clouds your thoughts. This life, like the dew on the grass, is but impermanent, and your remaining here forever is out of the question. Here within my heart I make the vow to shun all evil and to achieve the good for the good of all. I now reject all things of the samsaric world, that is, this mortal world. I am now resolved to know only things of the Holy Dharma. In my mind freed from doubt, faith is established, our precious ally through the whole of time, that is faith, freed from doubt, from the debt of doubt. The things of the samsaric world are an illusion, the mind of Maya, the dream. Wherever one looks, where is the substance? Reach out, and it is gone. Palaces and houses built of stone and wood perish, mortals built of blood and bone and urine perish, legions of men who throng amidst the mighty cities perish, uncles, nephews, brothers, sisters, mothers, fathers, neighbours, workers, couples, children, families, empires, cultures perish. All are vanished and perished, small and epochic, come and go and perish. They are like castles in the air, like rainbows in the sky. And how deluded are those that think of these as truths. These are all the meetings of dreams. We dream as we are also dreamed. Our habitual passions spring forth from the bad deeds of our past. Our thoughts are provoked by diverse apparitions, both dreamed within and dreamed without. We strut about like a deluded assemble of birds, displaying the splendid plumage of a peacock with its many flashy hues. The link of cause and effect which has now brought us here together in such an assemblage with melodious words in which notes high and low are mingled with the cacophony of the peacocks. Mists on a lake, clouds across a southern sky, lush fruits ripened by the summer sun, spray blown by wind above the sea. In the permanence they cannot last, in a truce they separate and fall away. May you prosper, sway together in this grateful dance of the Dharma. Sing your songs, sing your happy songs which travel the farthest. Carry far, for joyful songs. Now you have won your hearts, the truth enjoy. The song is love. Travel on to eternity's place, where a joyful meeting place for all exists, exchanging joy from living in hope. Come one, come all, each one satisfied, returns on the wings to his dwelling place above the world, within the sun. I hope this is helpful. Om Shanti.